Resolutions don't work. Why? Because there's some mistakes that are made in making resolutions. It has even been proven. So, I'm going to talk about this today. I'm going to talk about resolutions, why they don't work, and maybe a little bit of plan of action for you so that maybe your resolutions can work. It's proven that, and it was a coined term, that January 19th is Quitter's Day. Why? Well, I'm going to tell you why. There's a well-cited analysis from Strava, the activity tracking app, which looked at over 800 million logged goals around the 19th day of doing them. And on January 19th, or roughly 3 weeks in, was dubbed Quitter's Day because people who set their New Year's goals, like going to the gym, losing weight, running, cycling, are most likely to give up on those goals around the 19th day of doing them. That's what this analysis showed. I first heard about this. I was in a program that Mel Robbins did called Launch 4 years ago. And she talked about Quitter's Day, told us about this analysis, and that, being aware that in 19 days it was going to be a rough time for us, and we just had to keep going. And so why is that? Because motivation drops. We strike out on the first and we make this list, and it's a great list. What are the top resolutions made? Now, number 1, get healthier. 2, save money or financial goals. And then to get organized, like declutter, those sort of things. Those are the top 3. And then you have reduce stress, mental health, quit unhealthy habits, smoking, drinking, doom scrolling, those sort of things. And then we go on down the list and learn something new, improve relationships, travel, advance your career, those type of things. One that's never really talked about or listed, that's kind of underlying all of this, is to get happier and feel more like yourself. Why do these not work? Well, you throw out this list, you list it, and you go on, and you think, okay, but they're not specific. Your goals have to be specific. Get healthier. What does that mean? Well, until you get, I want to lose 20 pounds, and we get in shape. Still, too vague. They're just too vague. So let's bring that down a little more. And what do I need to do to get healthier? Well, when I work with people, we have this list of what stage of change is this person in. There's pre-contemplation, then there's contemplation. And most people make this list in contemplation. That's the second. There's 5 stages of change. So, did you prepare? Did you do an inventory of last year? What worked? What didn't work? What are you going to stop doing? What are you going to continue doing? And what are you going to start doing? And then get specific. It's like taking a trip. You get out your phone and you plug in, you call up the GPS and you plug in where you're going. Well, if GPS doesn't know where you are, it can't tell you how to get where you're going. So you got to find out, where are you? Where's your starting point? What? So it takes some preparation, which is the 3rd stage of change. Preparation. So you want to get healthier. gather information. What do you think's going to work for you, for your age group? Financial. Where are you at? You want to pay off debt? What debt do you have? How much do you owe? What's the interest rate? How are you going to do that? So you want to get more specific and not be so vague. All right? So you want to do an exercise plan, or you want to, So the goal is I am going to strength train at least 2 times a day. You can even list the strength training you're going to do. And then financial, I'm going to pay off my credit cards. How are you going to do that? And if you want to really get granular, why? What's the why behind getting healthy and paying off credit cards? Financial freedom, more mobility, feel better, be healthier. Those are your whys. So, there's some preparation here to not be so vague. And then I want to do this grandiose thing. Like, I want to pay off my credit cards. So I'm going to pay $500 a month on my credit cards. On one, do a snowball. I'm going to pay $500, because I want to do it really quick. And I'm focusing on the results and what I'm good, I'm making plans, which it's too big. All at once, it's too big. Can I afford that? Is that going to fit in my lifestyle? Which is the third reason they don't work. Does it fit in your lifestyle? I'm making plans on a Neiman Marcus budget, when really all I got's a Walmart budget. Can I pay $25 a month extra on the smallest amount owed? Yeah, I can do that one. I have learned that if I make the goals simple enough, I can always do more. But when I don't achieve the goals in 19 days, it's over. So, are these tied to your real life? I'm going to go to the gym every morning, 6 times a week. You hate mornings. You have trouble getting to work on time, but you're going to go to the gym 6 times? That's not a realistic goal. You're not going to achieve that. I don't like going to the gym because I got to get dressed to go, and then I have to drive there 15 minutes and drive home 15 minutes, and I already get my little workout done at the time it takes me to drive to the gym, so I do it at home. And we'll go into that. And one of the most important things is, do you plan for life to happen? What's a plan B? Life gets lifey, and you don't get that workout done this week. Are you just going to throw the baby out with the bathwater? No. You have to make a plan of how you're going to be consistent. Consistency. It's the turtle that won the race. Slow and steady wins the race. And a fallacy is when you make that list of goals, resolutions, you focus on the results. And when you focus on the results, nothing changes. You have to focus on the changes. Small daily habits done consistency is what is proven to work. So, I found myself, I wanted to lose 10 pounds last year. I accomplished that goal, but it wasn't like what I wanted. I had several losses, and I got really depressed the first part of the year, and I gained 10 pounds. I went to the doctor in June, and I looked at that scale, and it was like, oh my goodness, now it's 20 pounds. So I did exactly what I'm talking about. In June, I came home from the doctor, and I did some research. because what I was doing wasn't working. I was strength training, I was eating pretty healthy, and I still gained weight. Because at my age, it doesn't just come off. So I did a little research and I changed 2 things. Not 20, not something grandiose. I learned that if I lifted a little bit heavier weight, that it would work better to create more muscle mass. You create more muscle, you burn more calories. And if I needed to add more protein to my diet, I changed those 2 things. I went to the doctor in December. I'd lost 10 pounds. I achieved my goal, but I still got 10 pounds to lose. But that's the kind of thing that works to obtain your goal. Be specific. Is it measurable? I'm going to do this many times a week for this long. Pick the days. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to do strength training. Takes 15 minutes. That's 45 minutes out of a whole week. That's very obtainable for me, and I can do that. The protein. When I eat in the morning, I try to eat 30 grams of protein when I break my fast. And I eat before I exercise. That was another thing I learned. So these small little things, and so I focused on those, and I got the results. So they're measurable. Are they achievable? No, this is a real problem with me because I wanted it fast. This is our age of instant gratification. Well, we set a goal, and we think in 19 days we should see results. Usually we don't. A medium type goal takes about 60 days to be established. You know, am I going to lose 20 pounds in 2 months? That's not achievable for me at my age. I might lose 5 pounds a month, maybe. And so the goal should be, it's going to take me 4 months to do this, to get really realistic. And then it is relatable. Goes back to your why. Relate it to why you want this resolution to work for you. A lot of times resolutions don't work because you don't have the support or the accountability. And so I am doing a free webinar. It starts on Monday. It'll be live through Zoom. And if you're interested in getting some support and some coaching and accountability, it's free. All you got to do is email me. I'll send you a link. The 4th step in the stages of change is action. After you've done the preparation, then you take the action. Now, I hear a lot today, it's become this thing about intentions. Well, when I started on self-improvement, I heard intentions are just followed up by more intentions. But a decision is followed up with action. And that's what I did in June. I made a decision. Man, it was a decision. And I followed it up with action. Once I prepared, knew where I was at, got some information that was going to help me, and it worked. So the process of that is make a decision. Commit to your decision. Now, commitment is doing what you said you do long after the excitement or thrill you set it in is gone. That's way after day 19. Be committed. Do what it takes. Have what you want. Focus on the changes, and you will get results. I hope this has helped you. I still don't think resolutions work. I don't set resolutions. I make a dream list. I put down the dreams. Some of them may not have happened from last year, so they carry on over. I've done this for about 25 years, and I can go back in my journals and I can look at, that list. And so many things have come true for me. It's a form of manifestation. I can make a dream board about it, but I check that list. It's kind of like a bucket list, I wanted to fly first class for I don't know how long. Whatever illusion. I don't know. I just thought it would be fun. And so it's been on my dream list for forever. Fly first class. I kept thinking that I'd get a speaking gig, and they would want to really wine and dine their speaker, and they would fly me first class, but that didn't ever happen. So 2 years ago, I went to Canada to see a friend, and I had just sold my commercial property, and guess what? I flew first class. There were some perks in that, and it was check it off my bucket list. And I've flown a couple of times since then. I didn't fly first class, just now that I've done it, it's not a thing. But that was on my dream list, and that came to fruition for me. So I just focus on small, consistent habits that you can do to change. And remember to be you on purpose.